All right, let's go with that. Let's give it a try.
You ready?
Yep.
All right, I guess we'll open the public budget workshop session 2 for police business privilege and admin. And Treasurer, Finance Director Yarzinski, take it away, please.
All right, just, same as last week, I'm gonna give the PowerPoint presentation, and then Superintendent Stauffer will provide more details on his request. And just remember that this is a draft. It isn't, rough draft. The highlights are also the same. The majority of the budget's fixed with wages and insurance. The only way is to reduce this, obviously, is to eliminate or not refill positions, cost sharing, freeing up unused equipment, continuing for grants, etc. Inflation is always something that we have to battle with during budgeting season. Unplanned expenses will also throw out the budget, such as real estate tax refunds, overtime, accidents, anything like that. And again, the health insurance, we're still waiting on a more accurate estimate, but it could be anywhere up to 20%, so that's something to keep in mind. The current tax assessment value, I went over this last week, but there is a revenue loss, so that's something to be aware of. I mean, of course it can come back up before the end of the year, but you just never know. For police, they want you to keep in mind too that there might be resigning officers at the end of this year, beginning of next year. You never know for sure. But they do want to maintain their complement, so that's something to keep in mind. The receptionist position, we discussed this, I think, the past 2 years, and they're still have that on the radar to be considered. They're looking to implement a special operations team, which would require more officers, and the cost for academy training, which is $12,000. For data network, there's a computer replacement schedule that they implemented last year for I think it's about 6 computers a year.
Right.
And so that's, if we stay on track, that's how much it would be again for this year. For association dues and training, but the budget suggestion is $30,000, which is only about $588 per officer, so that's a pretty good number for that. Could be a lot higher with training and stuff, so that's going to help their budget in the long run. For communication and radios, they're looking to replace 5 new radios, plus the maintenance and repair, and that cost estimate is about $40,000. These all were on the 25 budget, so you might recognize a lot of them: the ballistic vests, tasers, and then the patrol car replacement program, which would be 2 patrol vehicles and 1 CID vehicle for this year. So based on the schedule that we started last year, that's what's on track for this year. We're continuing to follow that. For business privilege, their expenses are only about 1% of the entire general fund. None of their expenses typically change from year to year, and there are no new expenses predicted. It's pretty much fixed aside from wages and other wage expenses. Similar for administration, there's no new anticipated charges for administration or additional requests other than potential wage increases pending review and those that were obligated to increase contractually. Other than that, it's pretty much just police. So if there's any questions for me, I would be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'll turn it over to Superintendent Stauffer.
All good? All right, thank you, Brittany. Yeah, like Brittany said, a lot of the things, as you know, in the police budget are outside of our control because they're contractual, things like social security and insurance costs. But we do have some asks in here. The one that I really want to call your attention to is the police receptionist position. We've always had a secretary and a receptionist in the police department in the front lobby, and that was formerly Shelley Sheets had one of those two positions, and after she resigned from the police department, Megan Martin became our secretary and office manager, but we have a vacant receptionist position in the police department. Thankfully, Megan has really stepped up and she's doing a lot of the work herself, but it is a lot of work. It's definitely enough for two people, and we've been kind of blessed, I guess to say, that we've had some officers on light duty, and nobody wants to get hurt, but having light duty officers has allowed us to fill in the receptionist position with police officers. So the officers that have been on light duty have been helping out tremendously. Unfortunately for us, but fortunately for them, their light duty status is about to end, so they'll be back on the street before the end of this year, which will leave Mrs. Martin alone in the lobby, so she's going to need some help in that receptionist position very, very soon. The other thing that we ask for every year is just to be able to replace officers that might resign or retire. I feel there's probably two that will retire, if not before the end of this year, definitely next year. We'd like to replace them. The biggest ask that you can see on this paperwork is for the hiring of 2 additional police officers over and above what we have now, and that is a lot of money. And I get that there's only so much money to go around. One of the biggest complaints that we hear at the police department and we hear at commissioners' meetings is about traffic. And for the longest time, I have wanted to put together a special team of officers that would take care of traffic enforcement, warrant services, special criminal activities that they could pay attention to, like our heat team does right now. It's a big ask for 2 additional officers, but if we could make that happen, that would be fantastic and huge benefit to the township. The other things that are in here are much smaller asks compared to what I just mentioned. Nothing really outside of the ordinary. Two things that we'd like to do this year, if possible, on top of replacing the ballistic vests that will be expiring this year, is the purchase of some additional protection for all of the vests for all of the officers, and that is the rifle plates that you see listed there. It's literally a plate that goes inside of the vest that they're wearing now that gives extra protection for different kinds of rounds that our current vests do not protect them against. And the patrol car replacement also is something that you see pretty regularly on these requests every year, and that's just so that we can make sure that our fleet is completely operational. Back in 24, the command staff sat down and looked at what we thought was the best way to make sure that our fleet was running in tip-top shape, and that was to replace 3 cars every year. 1 year would be 3 patrol cars, the next year would be 2 patrol cars and a detective's vehicle, and then we flip-flop back and forth. This next year, we'd be looking to replace 2 patrol cars and 1 CID vehicle. The other thing that went up, if we can make this happen, if you recall back, I couldn't even tell you what year it was, we switched our police uniforms to the all-black version with the outer vest carrier. And when that happened, our Class A uniforms went by the wayside. So So right now, our police officers have one uniform, and that's the uniform that they wear on the street day in and day out. It's really not the type of uniform that you want to appear at a formal function with. Hearing the feedback.
Yeah.
So I'm asking for a little bit more in that line item so that we can start outfitting our police officers with Class A uniforms for formal functions. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
On the Class A, is that one per or two or?
One. One per officer. And the idea there is we're not looking for a $5,000 suit for an officer. We're looking for a very low cost Class A option. Each officer would have one. They'd be instructed to hang that in the closet and not touch it until we absolutely need to use it. So they would last for a considerable amount of time.
I have a question. What is our current complement, and where are we right now with that?
We have, including myself, we're at 51. That number includes the 3 police officers who are at the police academy right now. So technically, in the building, we're down 3. As long as these 3 gentlemen graduate in December, we'll be at full complement with 51, including me.
On the health care, anybody might be able to answer this question, but last week and this week we highlighted a possible 20% increase in healthcare costs. If I'm not mistaken, we recently made changes to our healthcare plan. It was going to result in significant cost savings, and it did at the time. But I was told at that time when I had asked if we had, if the healthcare increases would be capped, and at the time I was told, yeah, they would remain fairly low if we went with that group, and I think it was 5% that might have even been thrown out there, and now we're faced with a 20% increase possibly. Can anybody add any context to that? Because that's a significant increase in 1 year.
Yeah, I can be on the cap. I think the 20% is the general increase. So we're starting at a lower amount and adding 20% potentially because we switched to a lower base amount. So no matter what, it's not good for and you hear this we've heard that number. Unfortunately, it's been lower, but I mean I think they prepare you for that. But I mean 20% increase on the cost of the health insurance, I think is a separate thing than what we did. We got a different. It's not. Is it administrator?
Yeah, administrator.
Yeah.
But that's not what we were told at the time. That's why.
No, but well, I think they're shopping the same
They
thing.
are.
We didn't switch that part of the actual coverage to the employees. I think isn't that what we're talking about, the 20%?
Right.
They're telling us that where they get insurance from, there's a potential 20% increase. They aren't saying they raised their
Right.
amount 20%.
They haven't gotten all their quotes and stuff back, so they are brokering
So
for
what's
us.
the timeline on that? When will we have a better picture of
Well,
what that actual cost is?
Shannon tried to ask them again this week, and she said they haven't really given a clear answer. They said hopefully within a month or 2, but they,
Yeah, it's always on the
it really is
That's the
normally
problem.
end of October, beginning of November. So they just said, hey, play it. They're recommending that everyone play it safe, put in 20%. I know last year Benetcon said play it safe, put in 12%. That's just different providers that give you a different estimate, but it doesn't mean that when they all go out to broker the cost, they're all dealing with the same actual providers. So
Understood. I just want to make sure that
it's not going to be
based on
20%.
us when we first decided to make the change doesn't end up being something that was an unintended consequence. And here we were told we were going to get lower cost, and now a year later it's going up. I just want to make sure that we're looking out for it. Thank you.
Brittany, I know they usually go by quarters, I don't know how long it takes, so basically the end of September, maybe we talk to Shannon like this, as soon
Yeah.
as we can
As
get
soon
that
as we get
information, so
something,
we have time to.
yeah, to make a decision,
Yeah.
and to collect other quotes. Yeah, she's working with them, so.
You think it out.
I didn't mean to put it in there to be alarming, and they said the same thing, or like to reassure that it's not gonna be 20%, but they are increasing.
No, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah. No more questions. That's it.
Just kidding. I mean, the thing about the police budget is a lot of it, 90% of it is fixed
Right.
expenses, so.
Right, and the other thing that we can talk about real quick is there are some GLs here for payouts for officers that might retire, and those things are so difficult to predict because if someone doesn't retire, then we're not paying anything that year, so it's really hard to predict. Same thing with the accumulated time payout at the end of the year. There's really no telling, it's all contractual, whether someone's going to request to sell back as much as they can or nothing at all. So
and that's
it's
something
difficult.
again that we really can't estimate as accurately until it does get to the end of October, November. We just don't know, and even that's only if people are forthcoming if they're what their plans are.
The other thing, and there's so many unknowns, our radio GL, which is 410-302, all of our radios, as of right now, I believe, are outside of their warranty period. So each one of those handheld radios goes for about $8,000. And so the $40,000 that's listed here is only to replace 5 radios for 51 police officers. So, knock on wood, that we don't have to replace any of them. But that number could actually go up if we have 10 radios go down.
Are there plans to apply for grants for replacement of equipment? I know one year we went for a PCCD grant. I know the county has some discretionary funding that they can provide as far as.
Yes, any grants that we can get, and like our radar is up looking for those. Anything we can get to offset any of these costs, we're going to go after.
Okay. Yeah, I know the one at PCCD specify radios. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then, could you explain what the county reimburses us for extra duties that we're taking on? I know that part of that is,
Right.
if you look at overtime, sometimes overtime is way bloated because of the extra stuff that we do.
Right. And the other thing that's in the overtime line item is actually some salaries, because when we have police officers working on a holiday, they're being paid at a time-and-a-half rate, and that time-and-a-half rate comes out of our overtime GL. Is that correct, Brittany?
Yes.
Which also, makes it look like we're spending more in overtime that we really aren't. It's just going into paychecks for regular salaries. But we do have county teams like our CERT teams. We have officers that participate on the CERT team. And those officers, when they serve on that team for call-outs, they'll either request comp time or overtime. And I know that the county is interested, and Chief Martin from Swatara Township, who oversees the team, is very good about trying to get us back as much as he can through the county to reimburse us, but we certainly don't get reimbursed at 100%. There are extra details that we do for, say the school district says, can you put 2 police officers at the prom for 5 hours? And that's an overtime payment for our officers, but then we bill the school district and they reimburse us at 100% for all those different details.
Yeah, so that number currently at 370,000 is not gonna be 370,000 at the end of the
No.
year.
Right.
It's a big chunk that's gonna be gone.
Right. And then, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Brittany, but when we get those reimbursements, they don't offset this.
No,
It
they
goes
go in
into
the
the general
revenue.
fund. You're right.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't
it's
go
kind of hard to see
directly,
that.
yeah, so it won't.
Can I
match up.
piggyback off of that real quick? Because I did have a question. I didn't hear your full question, Commissioner. So if you don't mind, can I steal a little bit of your time?
Yeah,
real
sure,
quick?
absolutely.
For that same thing, I think going into next year, I think we can split that out because my question was going to be, I think we're going to need a list between our 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and 4 to 5, so we can actually budget with the new contract. This go round, we didn't know, we just held the contract, obviously, but I think we can break the wages out better. And then if we just leave him an overtime GL and then the other special payments, because I think even this year we lumped in the bonus payments that they're due.
We did.
Yeah, so I would, maybe we get another line item just strictly for the bonus payments too that are contractual obligation. I did the math real quick. I think we got, let me see where I got it. So we're gonna have $75,000 just in contractual obligations because of the signing of the contract next year. 50 officers that are union, right? Minus you're the only one that's not union.
Correct.
So yeah, at 1,500, the first quarter of 26, we got to get that out. So I think we should separate that out. That's fair to Superintendent Stauffer, and then he can actually hold his command staff accountable for the overtime, and we can actually see real numbers rather than all that lumped together.
I actually just discussed that with ISOL today.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
that's on the plan.
Good. No, that's something we can do in 26. But I had that, but I just wanted to add that to yours. But then I got some follow-up questions once everybody else goes around.
And that too is, I know it came up at the last week's meeting, but it is a 4% raise for the police officers under the CBA going into 26.
Yeah, it's 4, and then the last year is 5. 27 is going to be 5, but next year is the last year of the lump sum payments for them. Yeah, and then I think if we can actually get some real better numbers because our wages will tend to go down next year, but obviously remember we do have a bigger jump year to year for the 0 to 1 year. This is the 1 to 2, but I think we should budget that out rather than just, I think we added 14% or something just to the police salaries rather than just taking a raw number. I think we can hit right on target.
I have a question on the three that are in the academy now. Are they all on the same timeline? Will they all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And they're all doing tremendously well. We just got a report back from HAC. Their test scores are top of the class. So.
Okay. And the only other question I had was on the if we did have 2 retire, then obviously there's that payout of accumulated amount that we owe them. But is it also possible, because I thought we had this with someone else, that they use some of their time?
Yes, it's a
So
possibility.
they could still gradually reduce that, so I mean.
That's true.
Okay.
Yes.
'Cause I thought we had that before when we had.
We have.
2 out at the same time. One was their bank was going down basically.
Right.
For a
Yeah,
period.
which if they'd like to do that, that'll certainly reduce their
And
payout amount.
in a way, I guess it's really no different than if they were still here and using
Right.
the time.
Right.
But that alleviates. I know in like I said, one recent case, but in a couple of cases over the years where that lowered that expected payout significantly, depending on how long they use it that way. So that's all I have. Thank you.
I have one more question as a follow-up, if that's okay. Did we budget for the 2 retiring officers, like, just as a contingency? Do we have anything worked in the budget?
Yes, the 2 potential
Yes.
upcoming, yes. They are listed here. Brittany, if you could help me with that number.
Yeah, I believe the number is 001410. I don't memorize all of them.
It should be in their accumulated payout.
054?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be in their accumulated time
Oh,
payout.
I see it.
Yeah, the only problem is going to be, it would probably be best for us to get the leave banks and ISOL. We can calculate, it's easy to calculate some PD time, and we should probably calculate that just in case they were there all year and just add that to the budget just in case, because they're going to pick up more time obviously next year.
Right.
Well, I guess I just wanted to know if we were building in a contingency, not just for the payout, but also for 2 new hires if we were filling those positions.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that big number there under, is that 054?
Yeah.
That's for the payout of the 2 people that potentially could go based
Yes.
on their banks right now. But as far as,
But
Brittany,
I-
were 2 new
I
salaries
still-
included?
I still budget as if those people were going to be here in 26
Yeah, is that the
to
other?
be on the safe side and that they don't retire. So that way,
So that'll
So
make up
so the
for it.
2 new hires would just fill those budget.
Phil, yes.
At a lower rate, so it'll be a little.
Yeah.
So that's just listed in the, is that, I got a shadow here, but that's just the patrol salaries, the
Right.
050, so that just stays constant considering the replacement.
Right.
Right.
So there's one on the agenda, and if that would pass tomorrow, we would actually be at 54 then.
He, Officer Moret, is already working. He graduated at the end of June.
Okay.
He's part of the 51 that we'll have in.
That's
December.
okay. That's okay.
Yep.
All right,
Yep,
now I
he's
got
part-
it.
He's
Yep,
part
yep.
of that number.
And we started out with 40, I think it was roughly 49
Yeah, we were down
to 49. Okay. So he would be 51, and then that's with everybody that's in the academy too.
Correct.
And then you're asking for 2 additional next year.
Correct.
Okay. All right, I think I got that. And then, were you done?
Yes,
Um,
I'm done.
The police, I think we should just look at, if I'm not mistaken, I think we've all agreed. I don't know if your committee signed off on it yet, but the grant for them would be 3 more cars as well. So we would do a total of 3 in the budget and then 3 with the grant, which would be a total of 6. And then that would bring our fleet up to the rotation that Ashley and you wanted to, and your command staff projected, where you could then
Yeah.
rotate your fleet, cut down on the wear and tear of our vehicles, and maybe flatline our replacement program every year, or could it get us to every other year?
That's a really good number. We can talk about that more, but if there was room to do that, like you said, we might be able to flatten things out and change up the replacement plan a little bit.
If not, we got to get after Dawood, because I thought I seen the email requesting that we want to go after the
I
police.
know we
grant
had talked
vehicles
about
again.
the
Yeah, I think
3,
So that
I
would
think
be
Dawood
6.
is working on that now.
yeah.
Okay, so that would be good. I mean, if the board's okay with that, I would stick with, we can get 3 out of grant and 3 out of budget, that's 6. And, part of the
Yeah.
plan, you rotate them vehicles, that's less wear and tear.
Yeah, I think the only thing we were waiting on from Dahlwood was to confirm it was an eligible expense.
Right.
Right.
And it's, I mean, it sounded like it was, so, but I did not get anything back unless.
I haven't either.
Yeah, I didn't see anything yet, but I mean, I think we're, hopefully by the end of the month, we at least know, where we're going there. I mean, someone else paying for it's a lot better than us paying for it.
Agreed.
And like you said, there could be a year where we can back off of
Right.
what we had to pay for.
Yep.
The computers, are they the ones in the office, or did we finally get all the ones in the cars that got swapped out?
So as we replace cars, we replace the computers in the
Okay.
car. That's just part of the cost of the car.
Okay.
So that's built into that capital outlay vehicle GL. The 6 computers that you see to replace there would be 6 computers inside the building.
Okay.
And we have, I believe, currently 31 computers inside the building in the police station, which is why we replace 6 a year, because they're usually only good for about 5 years, give or take, until it's time to replace a computer.
Now, you know where my
So
next,
six per year is a good
pretty decent, right?
good plan.
You know where my next question is going to go? Can we get rid of any desktops and add more laptops?
So,
Like
it's a good
CIP
question.
maybe?
Yeah, I think I'm very happy with my laptop right now. It took a little bit of getting used to, but yeah, cops don't like change, and they don't like when things stay the same either. So I was a little bit of a hard sell on that, but I appreciate being able to take that home and work from home, which I did yesterday and half of the day today.
Right.
But yeah, I think as long as they perform the same way that a tower does, if we're going to save some money that way, I think that makes sense.
I think it was actually a significant cost, because that's not constant monitored like that. So, and I'm fine with, if you just want to, let's test it with you obviously test it with the command staff first.
Right.
Maybe test it with your detectives first before
Right.
you decide to go patrolman or something like that.
Mhm.
And I don't know if your guys use a laptop in court or not, but a patrolman taking a laptop to court, you know?
We do take laptops to court, so
Yeah, see, that'd be great.
yeah, I think that's a good plan.
Radios, do you think we should, and this is horrible because no matter what service you're in with Motorola, always a new update comes out or new radios or the county's forcing you into a new band or whatever it may be. Is it smarter for us now to go ahead and, Motorola has a great program where it was cheaper to lease than to buy outright for the portables. I mean,
Right.
is that something we should start looking into?
We could investigate that, yeah, see what the cost would be.
Or just
compared
replace.
to just buying them.
And we give radios to
Yeah,
every officer, right?
We do.
Okay,
We
that's
do.
right. Accountability, I forgot about that, okay.
Well, that was one of those expenses, I think, was it 3 or 4 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
We reached out to county and they, I believe, helped us with radios.
That sounds
got a
right.
grant
I
for
know
it.
we just finished the last lease payment. Is that in 24, Brittany?
Yes.
Or maybe we
So we
applied, I don't know.
just finished the last lease payment on all the radios that we have. But like I mentioned earlier, I believe they're all out of their warranty period now. The batteries are starting to go. So now the radio's okay, but we have to buy batteries, which are not cheap. But it's probably starting to be about the time that we investigate what we're going to do if we have a bunch of radios start to fail. So we might want to look at a replacement program starting, maybe in 27, where we can spend 26 trying to figure out that plan. And like you said, Commissioner Zubek, there's probably grants available to help offset the cost of a large radio purchase.
We did.
Yep.
Where are you at as far as the next generation of body cams coming out? Because I know that's going to be a next large expense for us that we should plan for.
Yeah, we actually just replaced the body camera, so we're on our second generation of body cameras, and it's still a WatchGuard camera.
Okay.
We got those through a grant. I think that was around $260,000-ish when we had to replace all those body cameras. But like, any other piece of technology or computer, they don't last forever, unfortunately. So that's probably fits in that same silo of it's time to start thinking about what we're going to do next. I don't think we have to do it in 26, but probably in one of the years that follows shortly thereafter.
Okay.
I just read an article today that there are body cameras out and available that actually have translation services
Yes.
built into them. So they're always coming up with something new. It's pretty cool.
I mean, it's something to think about, though, even going into 26, even if you don't want to do it to 27, probably get the price because you can figure it's going to be anywhere from a 3 to 6% increase year over year. So
Correct.
we might want to even start replacing them next year and going after grants for it, too. No, that's all I have. Good job, Superintendent.
Thank you.
Any other board members have any questions? Okay, moving right along. BP.
Where did it?
Oh, I must have been out.
I think when she did it, she did it. How's that?
I did it.
The
That was the
overview
end.
was
Yeah.
the entire view.
Yeah.
She got me again.
Well, for VP and admin, the only thing that ever changes within those two funds is wages. So that's all there is to review. There's nothing specifically out of the ordinary that Jen asked for, recommended for VP. She always goes to her annual conference that is $200. So that's always in there. Same with admin. office expenses, printer leases, none of those rates are changing for next year, so it's just wages and health expenses that are to be considered.
Do you have a BP sheet in here? Or did
Yes, I
miss-
do. I believe it's the last sheet, or maybe it's the one
Oh, yeah,
after
yeah.
police.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have it. If we could though, when we recap, because we know we did make some changes to salaries throughout the year.
I know,
is-
I have to put them in.
Yeah, is there any way that you can, because, I mean, that's,
I know it looks like there's a big increase, but there's not because her rate was changed in
Right.
January. So I know that's why it looks like it was an alarming increase, but it's really only the.
even if we can make a note at the bottom, I think
Yeah.
we can, I think the whole board
Well,
can
that's
deal
why
with that.
this one isn't.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
No, I mean, once we get back to our recap and then we give
Yeah.
a full,
Yep.
the full one, if we can do that for the board so they can actually see that, because that
This
does look
just
like
a
a
rough
major.
draft.
Yeah. Mhm. Yep, I'm with it. And I think she is split, right?
Split in
Yeah.
half.
Okay. Okay. Board have anything else?
My,
Mr. Freeze, you have anything for public comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Go ahead, Commissioner Zubat.
well, I do want to just, my eyes are getting a little tired. I do want to come in at some point and
Okay.
make a little bit of a larger print
Yeah.
copy.
And I did put the packets, the big pieces of paper, the packets from last week on the bottom.
Thank you.
Yes, I know it doesn't seem like much of a difference, so feel free to come in
That's
anytime.
a huge difference.
Yeah. I know.
I think the budget books will be much, much better
Yeah,
too.
they will.
I think we're getting there, but it's
Yes,
just gonna take
we
a
are
little time.
getting there. Yeah.
Any questions before we close out? Okay, hearing none, we're done. Thank you.
Thanks, chief.